My name is Clay Mertes. I am the Director of Sales here at the Alliance Corporate Office. How does it feel to be up here in Vegas, Burlington, North Carolina, baby? It's a destination city, man. We got the Alliance here, okay? This is my 10th year here, y'all. Represent. You too? What's your NAA number?
Oh, no, I'm not down.
Okay, all right. Well, mine's 27. That's how you can figure out how long somebody. You're 272. All right, yeah. So 271256. That's my NAA number. So that's how you know I've been here a long time. And dude, it was 10 years ago, Rogers, that I responded to a Craigslist ad. We don't even have Craigslist ads anymore, Anitra. It's kind of crazy. We should try again. But I was like a cold market responder. That's somebody that just responded to cold market. Where's my cold market people at? James alive?
Yes.
Woo. That's good. That means we're good at the 3-foot rule. There's not a lot of us. So everybody else is warm market. That means somebody introduced them to the business. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Thank you for raising a hand. Appreciate that. There's going to be a lot of participation here. So yeah, dude, I responded to an ad, and it was a Craigslist ad. And Craigslist, you used to go there to find jobs. Nowadays, I think people go on Craigslist to find other things, Robbie. Don't go on there. You be careful. You're good. Yeah. So I found a job, and it said looking for a sports-minded individual. And I was like, okay. And I was looking for a sports job, Jason. So I was looking for a sports job, and the guy that put the ad up just kept it simple. So this may be your first piece of advice is keep your ads simple, wide net. So if you ask Andy, does he post a narrow ad, looking for licensed life insurance agents? We're casting a wide net. So this guy cast a wide net, and he said, sports-minded individual, hardworking, ethical, must have a valid driver's license. I was like, that's me, Tim. That's me. So I applied, and I was applying on other stuff. So that's another pro tip. The people that apply to your ads are applying to a bunch of other stuff too. So I applied to this advertisement, and this guy calls me up, and he's speaking my language. You know what I mean, Andres? We're not talking about boring stuff. We're talking about football games and travel in the world and just lifestyle, what I want my life to look like. And he's speaking life into me, and I was like, this is badass. And he's telling me about this guy named Andy Albright, who at the time, he's kind of sounded mythical to me because he's just telling, I don't know, you know what I mean? He had just gotten off a jet trip, and he's like, yeah, they picked us up in all these Maybachs and all this stuff, and it was just sounded too good to be true, And so I responded to the ad, and he's like, you come out to North Carolina. And I was moving out here anyway, Scott, because I was dating a girl. Yeah, I met her in Australia, okay? So we were studying abroad. I was studying abroad.
That's right.
So she went to Missouri, and I'm a Missouri people. I went to Colorado. We were both graduating, Delilah. So I was like, you should come to Colorado, Boulder, and she was like, no. And I was like, okay. And she's like, you should come to Missouri. And I was like, hell no. And so I was like, here's the places I'll live. And I've been to North Carolina, and I liked it. So I just came to North Carolina kind of on a whim. And as Andy later told me, because obviously this didn't work out, he goes, Bo, she was trying to cull you from the herd. And I don't really, sometimes I need a little translation, you know what I mean? I was still new in North Carolina. I still do. So there's times Patrick will say stuff to me, and I'll be like, one more time, and he'll have to repeat it so my Colorado butt can hear it. So he said, he's trying to cull you from the herd, just trying to separate you from your family and friends so she could control you. And I was like, oh, Lord. But when I talk about God's plan, what I like coming up to that song is I call it the butterfly effect of life, right? Those small, crazy decisions you make, whether it's replying to an ad or moving across the country or dating a crazy woman, it'll have just a massive impact on your life, right? There's just no chance I find the Alliance without the crazy girl, okay? There's no chance I find my current wife, Jasmine, who's beautiful and wonderful and extremely intelligent, okay? There's just no chance I ever meet her. She's from New Jersey, I'm from Colorado. We don't meet. So it's so crazy how those small things in your life just have this wild change. So I'm grateful to be a part of the Alliance family for the last 10 years. Andy Albright's changed the trajectory of my life, right? Just absolutely changed the trajectory. The way I see things, the way I look at things. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, how Andy thinks about spending money, investing money. I'm speaking what I hear from Andy. So this is my interpretation. So take that as part of it. But we're going to talk about a system of how he invests money and his strategy when it comes to investing money. Is that okay with everybody? We're also going to be talking a lot about like President's Club and the resources we got in President's Club, because that's an investment in what you do. Now, a big investment, this is like a staffing. We're talking about virtual assistants, hiring overseas. So don't worry, it's all going to come around. If you're like, I thought we were going to talk about it. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to get there. But it's kind of crazy. And like you may have noticed this in your short time, whether you've been at the Alliance a long time or a short time. But like Andy trains his staff in a lot of different positions, okay? Because he comes from the textile world. Like that was what he did before he ran a massive insurance company. And in the textile world, you got to be able to do multiple things, okay? Because if somebody gets their arm ripped off or doesn't show up for work, the factory can't stop. They can't just be like, shit, Greg didn't show up for work. Let's shut her down today. Like, no, that is not how it goes. Instead, it's like, hey, you're doing this today. And we've already trained you on that, so get your ass in there and do that, okay? That is how you operate as an Alliance corporate staff person. So, like, I've run the lead team, I've run the recruiting team, I've run President's Club, I run them all right now. So, like, I've done a little bit of everything. In case somebody gets hit by a bus, I got to step in, okay? So, like, that's a lesson for y'all in the way you train staff is you want to, like, cross-train them and train them in a lot of different stuff. In case something happens, you got next man up. Now, the other piece is you want to train multiple staff in multiple things. In case one of them quits, you go like this, okay? You just move them right into the next spot. Or somebody gets a promotion, who's going to fill the gap? Who's going to fill that position right there? Okay, so it's a little bit in the way Andy thinks about his staff and the way he runs his business. Who's ever done an FIE, a financial independence engine, with their manager, their upline? All right, we got a few. Okay, this is a really helpful exercise, and I'm going to be kind of like training the trainer tonight with y'all. And so what I mean by that is like I'm kind of challenging you to do this with your team. Oh, God, that's not happening. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm challenging you to do this with your team, because if you can understand this process, okay, this flow of money, you not only are going to become a better coach, but you're going to yourself understand where your money should be going, because it's very, very, very counterintuitive to what America, or maybe like, let's call it like traditional thinking, okay? This is just like the opposite of what a job will teach you or what you've been told throughout your life, okay? So everybody, there's a quadrant page. We're going to focus on the quadrant page first, all right? So top left corner, what do we got? We got override income. Can y'all guess what override income is? That is passive income. So anyone that's new, override income is the money you earn off of people you hire, okay? That is passively earned. They sold something, you made money. It is that simple, okay? Next box over. This is your assets. An asset is something that earns money, okay? A lot of people think their home is an asset. Question for you, is your home paid off? If the answer is no, then it is not an asset. Assets are things that are paid off and generate revenue. Next down the list is your monthly income. For most of us, that is your sales income or your job income, your W-2. Next is your expenses, okay? These are your monthly expenses, the things that you need to live. Now, no part of this chart are you ever going to see luxuries. You will not see luxuries on this chart at all, okay? So this is monthly expenses. This is rent, okay? This is utilities. This is your car payment. This is your food. This is just like your life maintenance. If you don't pay these things, you got a problem, okay? You got a problem, you get kicked out, you gotta go live on the street. Okay, these are your have to pay expenses. Below that is your liabilities. So this is where a lot of people get confused. Liabilities are things that cost you money. Okay? So credit card debt, liability. House, liability. Primary house, liability. Loan payments, loans to parents, student loans, credit card debt, anything that costs you money monthly is a liability. And finally, we have our business expenses. Your business expenses are the things that power your business. Give me some business expenses in y'all's world. Leads. What else? Office. Staff. What else? Yeah. PC. Another one, travel. Traveling here. Conventions. Coffee. Internet. Right? Yeah, you need that. And internet's almost here, right? Because everyone's going to pay for that anyway. Cell phone, too, I'd say is in here, especially if it's business related. Almost there, too. All right. So does everybody have a clear definition of each one of these things? Yeah. All right. Now, here is what most people do in their life. And this is not you. I'm not accusing y'all of doing this, okay? Most people make X dollars in their job. And X dollars pay their monthly expenses. Now, if they got a little bit left over, they might pay off some of their liabilities. They might try and get out of debt. Or they might try and buy an asset. Okay, we didn't talk much about assets. How much in the bank at a 3% return rate, interest rates are dropping, how much in the bank do you need to generate $100,000 a year, not a month? $3 million. You need $3 million in the bank to generate $100K a year. A year, right? So you got a lot of people who their corporate job has taught them to pour money into their 401K, right, through their W-2, into an asset, and hopefully by the time they're age 65, they got $3 million in there just to have $100,000 a year at retirement. And oh, by the way, they spent the last 40 years of their life trying to get it. They're 65 now, they're older, they don't have the same lifestyle. Just to have $100,000. Is $100,000 going to be $100,000 a few years from now, 20 years from now? Hell no. Okay, so that's the corporate trap that people get caught in right there, okay? And that's not y'all, I'm not accusing y'all of that, but just like educating you on what like you're told, right? Okay, now, here's what you can do, and this is getting out of the rat race. This is Robert Kiyosaki, okay? So this is cash flow quadrants. This is very simple. So if you're looking for extra literature on this, Robert Kiyosaki, like this is all him. There's also a board game that's incredible called The Rat Race that the whole concept is built through this, okay? So you as business owners, all of you are business owners, congratulations, you own a business, have the ability to build a passive income. Now, how do you do it? The whole concept here is you want to drive up your business expenses to do two things: to drive up both your passive income and to drive up your sales income, okay? So your goal is to take your extra money, okay? You have to, like, to be clear, you're not exempt from this pay your monthly bills deal. You have to still pay your monthly bills, but rather than getting extra cash and pouring it into a 401k or a investment account or whatever, you want to pour it back into your business. This is a quick aside. So I'm doing this with one of our agents the other day, and we're talking through it. We're just breaking down his numbers, and that's what the back page is. And I'm like, all right, so tell me about it. When you get extra money, what do you do with it? And he's like, oh, I actually have this really smart strategy. And I was like, tell me about it. He's like, when I make a sale, I take $50 and I just transfer it into my investment account. And I was like, okay. And like, how many sales you make in a month? 15, 20, okay? So if it's 20 sales, right, it's $1,000 a month that he's throwing into an investment account. Now, this guy's a really good salesperson. He'll go to Thailand, but he does not have a business. He has no business, and he has no business because he does not reinvest in business expenses. He is just like investing in leads only to sell more, but then he sells more just to be stuck in the same like wheel, and he couldn't see through to get out, okay? So how you get out of that spinning circle is you invest more in resources that grow your passive income, okay? You just build that up. So like when you see Andy pouring money into stuff, it's stuff that's gonna grow his passive income. So that's what we're gonna talk a little bit more about here. Now, we didn't talk too much about assets, but a key here is like you don't wanna buy assets with like your W-2 money, your monthly income. And really, you don't want to buy assets until like you you can, if that makes sense. So when I first started the Alliance, 2015, I told you it's been 10 years. Andy's well established. Like, Andy's the dude making money, right? But I started in 2015, okay? Andy did not have a jet, okay? He did not have 2 jets. He drove a Range Rover, which was like, it's a nice car, but it's not a $500,000 car, okay? His wife had a Range Rover as well. He lived in his daddy's house, which granted he poured some money into, but by the way, he turned that into a business when he was first starting. Like, he built a pool house, but really it was like, that's where he had his employees, okay? So he's still living in his daddy's house. I think he might have just bought the land for the cabin, but like the cabin was not the cabin. Like, he just didn't have like some of the luxuries you see today, okay? Why? He was building up his passive income even like 20 years into the business. And like, by the way, he's making millions of dollars a month and he's still driving a Range Rover, okay? Now, once his cash flow like really exploded and it just got to the point where he's like, shit, he did buy like $2 million of cars in like a month, and he did buy a jet, and he did buy another jet. Like, so like, but his cash flow necessitated the ability to buy those luxuries, okay? So like, delay the gratification and only buy assets with cash flow, okay? Your override income cash flow is how you buy assets. So if you're like, well, I want the nice house, buy it with passive income, okay? Don't buy it because you had an incredible sales year. If you have an incredible sales, like, I'm gonna get on a soapbox for a minute. Like, if you're doing estate planning or you're having your best sales year of your life and you've doubled your income, congratulations. I'm really, really, really proud of you. Good job. Now, here's what I would like you to do, and I'm not telling you what to do, but here's what I'd like, is you pour all that extra sales income into building a business. Why? Because you can't double your sales income every year. You just can't. Why? Because it requires you doing this. Signing applications, you're gonna sign them faster? You're gonna find a better strategy than estate planning? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work. You can only double so many times when it comes to your sales income. So if you're not taking that sales income and pouring it back into your business, you are missing the boat. Like, you are not gonna double it this year. You might be flat because you're like, oh shit, I did 400,000 again. Like, I know. How do you get bigger? You pour money into those business expenses, which is so counter, okay? So if you can get your expenses high enough, your cash flow will grow. So I used to work in the lead department, and like, we used to, I hate to say we used to, but like, the manager used to pay for part of the leads. So like, if you bought some leads, your manager was in with you, and like, sometimes whether they wanted to be or not. And like, it helped keep lead costs low, but like, as a manager, it was kind of a risk, right? Because somebody could just totally not do anything. And so I was in the lead department. I was pretty new. So when y'all know who Andy is. So I got promoted in the lead department to run it, and I'm like a year and a half in, and I had a really big sales month. I think I wrote like 13 grand or something like that, which is good for me. And he goes, hey, what are you selling? And I was like, I'm selling leads, bro. I don't know anybody here. And he's like, oh, that's good. Hey, why don't you run the lead department? And I was like, okay, what do you want me to do? And Leslie, he goes, sell some leads. Yes, sir. Like, he's like, what do you mean? You want me to tell you how to do your job? That's what I'm paying you to do. Sell some damn leads. So that's what I did. So I was selling leads. And I remember, because I sold a bunch of leads to a new agent. I probably shouldn't have sold him all these leads, Roger, in hindsight. And it was your upline. It was Davey's downline. And so I get a call, and I was worried because I was like, oh, shit, his like override's a lot of money. And I was like, hey, man, heads up. Like, this guy got a bunch of leads, and I don't know how you feel about him, but I was excited, blah, blah, blah. He's like, so my lead bill's going to be high this week? And I was like, yeah, it's going to be high. And he goes, yes. And I was like, it's the opposite response of what I thought. I was like, so you want your lead bill to be high? He's like, yeah. And I was like, explain that to me. He's like, because if my lead bill's high, it means next week's sales are going to be high. Okay? So like, if you guys want to grow your passive income, sell some damn leads. Seriously, sell your people on investing leads. Sell your people on estate planning. Look what Andy does. Like, when Andy is on stage, he is selling you on estate planning. He is selling you on investing. He is selling you on something. Why? Because it means his business will grow. And if you guys aren't helping us sell people on doing stuff, we're not going to grow. Fair? Yep. Sell your people on stuff. Anything. Okay? I'm selling you on stuff. I'm getting to it. I'm getting to the point. You got slow build, you know? So that's Andy's mindset around growing a business is you need to reinvest your sales income, your W-2 income, if you want passive income. Now, if you're just a salesperson like this, you probably wouldn't be in this room because we're talking about growing staff and hiring people. But that's how Andy does it. Now, when we hire staff, all right, let's transition better than that. What's a really easy place to grow your business? Hiring staff. When Andy got started, the first thing he did, hire 2 staff, okay? Because he did one insurance application, James, and went, oh, hell no, right? Because we used to do all paper apps for those of you that are new. We used to do all paper apps, okay? It's easy to mess something up. The insurance carriers are a-holes. They're mad. And if you got handwriting like mine, like, oh, Lord, something's definitely getting messed up, right? So Andy did one application, hired 2 secretaries, okay? 2 secretaries, and he's like, I'm never doing an application ever again. Or you've called a carrier, Andres. You know what it's like, bro. It's like pulling teeth, dude. And like, I don't want you to have to call carriers anymore. That tears my nerves up, bro. So like, Andy realized that quickly. Now you'll see a place that Andy consistently spends money is staff. He's constantly investing in staff and staff in the right places, okay? Now, he is very particular on his staff and who he hires. So we're going to talk a little bit like office admin staff, then we're going to go like virtual staff, okay? So like office admin staff, people that we're hiring here in Burlington, like you'll notice a trend, like generally younger, generally college educated, generally having done something in their life. Okay, like some successes. So we're trying to like look and see like, all right, have they achieved stuff in their life? Because that's typically an indicator of future success, right? Have you gotten a degree from Michigan State? Was it a hard degree, right? Like psychology is a hard degree. Yeah, that's respect. Do you know anything about insurance? Don't care. I mean, don't give a shit. Like it help, but like, we'll teach you insurance because we're not really an insurance company, right? We're like inspiration marketing. It just doesn't matter, okay? So you want to look for people like that. And then you want to look for people that are like bold and excited and want stuff out of life, okay? Because those people are going to be like willing to go to war for you, right? Like this is the National Boot Camp. You are looking for soldiers. You're looking for people that are willing to go to war for you and fight for you, okay? Other places, Andy grows his passive income. Investing in advertisements. Dude, you guys should see our ad budget a month. I don't actually know what it is, but it's probably, I think in just our base shop, it's probably about $7,000 a month minimum. Like it's between 7 and 10 grand, depending on what we do, maybe more, okay? And granted, we've got like 5 recruiters, okay? So I got a lot of mouths to feed, and that's part of my job is to feed them. But like, dude, each one of them has 30 ZipRecruiter ads. So that's $3,000 alone. Okay, and then we're spending money on Facebook ads. I'm spending money on like AI technology, virtual assistants to keep them doing what they're good at, which is this. Okay, so my job is to make sure they're here. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about, is to make sure your people are here and working, okay? Or you're here and working, okay? If you don't have a recruiter, it's you're the recruiter. But you need to be here, not like dialing or trying to get stuff done, okay? So when it comes to hiring staff, you got a couple options. We're going to talk mainly virtual now. I hire most of my staff. I do a lot of the hiring here on LinkedIn. So if you're trying to hire office staff, I do a lot of LinkedIn. I can quickly sort. I can see what they look like. I can see their college education. I can see stuff about them, and I can hit them quick. I'm looking for local generally. I just hired Carly. She's an exception. She's in Michigan. But like the first thing I asked her, I was like, hey, you're in Michigan. Are you coming down here? And if they're like, I would for the job, they're out, right? I don't want somebody to move just for the job, okay? But her brothers lived here, so I was like, all right, we'll see. But I still asked her 12 times, like, you sure you want to move down to North Carolina? Why North Carolina? You sure? You thinking about it? Like just checking, because like I just don't want to, I don't waste the time for her or for me, okay? Now, when it comes to hiring virtual assistants, we have historically used like the Philippines. Jason Math's in the room. He's done a lot in Bolivia, okay? I'm not as well versed in Bolivia, so I'm going to mainly talk about the Philippines now and what we do in the Philippines, okay? So our strategy with hiring Filipinos is mainly to do the minutia, to do the calling, to do the stuff that's annoying, okay? So for my recruiters, it is getting people on their calendar, okay? So if I can get people on their calendar, life is good. Life is great because then they're spending less time sourcing people. So let's talk about how we do that. So we will help you in President's Club do it. I'm going to talk about some links. I guess we don't normally do this. You're allowed to pull out your phones. I'm going to talk about some links today. And you can just text me, and I'll send you the links because it's easier. I'm also going to show them on the computer. But if you text me, I'll just send you these links in an auto text. You have to do the auto text right. You can't screw it up. So if you text my corporate number, and I wouldn't even save this number as Clay. It's going to say Clay, but I don't really respond to this number. The phone number is 336-343-4371. Now here's the key. We're going to see how good you guys follow instructions. Text NBC, 336-343-4371. NBC, National Boot Camp, 336-343-4371. NBC, National Boot Camp. Okay, text that number. You get an auto text back directly from me that has all the links we're going to talk about today. So that way you got them, so don't forget to do that, okay? Got it. All right. So we started hiring Philippines people mainly to do our call centers. So like we got a call center that some of y'all may already be connected with, and that call center is pretty decent, okay? They are not bad. They are plug and play. They will call people for you. Now we were like, man, it'd be cool if like we could get some people doing some other stuff. Does anybody like mess with GoHighLevel a little bit? You mess with it at all? Okay. All right. So we've been messing with GoHighLevel, and we're like, man almighty, like we got to get some help building out this GoHighLevel system because like it's just not an A activity. Like it's just annoying. It's kind of fun. Like you get up into it, but it's like, it's just not helpful. It doesn't make the company money to do it. So I was like, we got to get some people that can do this and build it out. Okay, so we got on this deck, we got like 4 or 5 people down there that are just can build stuff on there. So the first thing I'm going to tell you that you can use Philippines for is building out technology and services that you may not want to build out, okay? So like when it comes to GoHighLevel, please, for the love of God, I was talking to somebody yesterday and they were asking me about like website stuff, and I was like, dude, you can do my website, you can pay somebody else, but if you spend more than 15 minutes on it, I'm going to shoot you. Because he's a high producer. Like, it is just expensive for him to be building a website. And I was like, just pay us to do it, okay? So you can pay them to do other stuff for you. You can pay them to do your initial dials. I assume everybody wants to build a business that's in this room, right? Like, you're in this room, you want help. You can pay them to do your initial dials. An initial dial, for those of you that don't know, is getting an appointment, like just a recruiting appointment. They say, hey, here's what we're doing. I'm doing a recruiting appointment. Get on my calendar, okay? Boom, on the calendar. You can pay them to do your pending. Pending is when you screw something up on an application, they call the carrier, they fix it for you, okay? They just get it done. You can pay, sorry about that. You can pay them to do your AM card. That is sending cards to clients. I am deaf in this ear now. Okay? Yeah, right. You would get me. You can pay them to organize your schedule. You can pay them to do data entry. You cannot pay them to get your coffee. Shoot. Yeah, you could. Here's what Mathis would do. Mathis would get an automatic espresso machine in his house, and then he'd be like, hey, can y'all, when I say, can you just hit the button? And then he would have some sort of button built in, and an espresso would get made. But that's the one con, is you can't ask for stuff. Like you can't go get my coffee, get my dry cleaning. You need a face-to-face staff for that, okay? So how do you get, yeah. That's actually a good point. You know what? I concede my point. They could call Uber Eats for you. No, you're going to need a VPN to call Uber Eats. Yeah, that would be crazy. So historically, and I'm going to give you 2 options, okay? So historically, we have gone on, I'm just going to give you the source, OnlineJobs.ph. It looks like this. You can go to this page. Now, you got to have a login, and you got to pay $70. Okay, and you'll post an ad, and you can find them, and you can do it. Like, I'm not joking. You can get up in there, and you can do it. Okay, I've done it. Well, I didn't do it. Stephanie did it. Okay, but you see, we posted an ad, and I haven't posted one in a while because we've got a referral stream now, but like a ton of people replied to one ad. Now you got to call them, and you got to vet them, and you got to talk to them, you got to negotiate with them, and then you got to pay them. Okay, so there's just like, it's just a lot of work. It's just kind of annoying, but like, to be clear, you can do it, and they'll post how much they charge and stuff, and you can see stuff. So like, this was for a GoHighLevel expert I was looking for. And they'll just post all their stuff on there. This person wants $8, which is steep, okay? So you can sort it. You can do all of this on your own. Like, you are capable. But let's come back to our time and money graph that we drew earlier, is like, where do you make the most money? Selling and recruiting. Where should you invest money? In other people doing it for you, okay? So I know a lot of you are in President's Club. Everything we're talking to is a President's Club benefit. So you got to be in President's Club, everything I'm talking about today. And why? Because like, I want to give advantages to people that invest in the program. Okay, so the first link you got is a President's Club membership. Lucera and Amir are going to be talking about it Sunday, but it's $99 a month, okay? It is a business expense. The goal of it, Oscar, is to drive your revenue, dude, whether it's sales or building, okay? Whether it's ZipRecruiter ads, maybe you need a website, whatever it is. There's a ton of stuff in there. You can see it on there. You need to be in President's Club to get this stuff, okay? So that's step number one, okay? Now, we have experience sourcing, hiring, finding people, and really we've got a referral stream now. Okay, so Andy was like, hey, you know what would be a good idea, Clay, is if you helped our people hire virtual assistants. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea, but I'm like busy doing shit. And he's like, figure it out. I was like, yes, coach. It's kind of like, I shouldn't have, I should have just agreed. I'm coachable, I'm malleable, I'm learning still, Alan. So he's like, hey, why don't you just learn how to do it yourself? And I was like, all right. So we learn how to do it. And I was like, but dude, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of energy, there's ad costs tied up in there, and there's all sorts of stuff tied up in there. And he's like, let me get another sheet out. He's like, why don't you just do it? And I was like, all right, fine, we'll do it. We'll create a strategy, we'll create a plan. So in President's Club now, we will hire and source virtual assistants for you, okay? And all we're doing is just a hiring, sourcing fee of $500, okay? And I will find them, I will hire them, I will negotiate with them, and I will get your person started, okay? So if you're interested in that, it's one of the links I sent you. You go to napresidentsclub.com/VA hiring. $500, we'll hire them, we'll get them started, we'll get them rolling, okay? And I will source them for you. Now, you want them trained, I'm gonna charge you $250. Why? It's going to take a lot of time to get this person trained. Now you can steal this. This is just our training platform. I've also got an admin course that I'll try to find a way to share it. I was trying to put it on that auto text, but the link was too long. Y'all can steal our admin course. We have it hosted in GoHighLevel. It's literally just like how-to videos of stuff. But when we find, source, and train somebody for you, we are going to be zooming with them, getting their mind right, helping them figure this thing out in the Alliance, and handing you a virtual assistant on a silver platter, okay? So if you're interested in hiring a virtual assistant, I'm willing to do it for you, okay? Now, Andy was like, you know how he is at conventions. He gets excited. He's like, make it like worthwhile for your people. He's like, make it good for them. He's like, give them something. And I was like, what do you want me to give them? He's like, give them a deal, bro. He's like, give them a deal. Okay, so it's $500 for us to find them and hire them. Okay, and you can train them, and I'll give you the admin course to train them. Blah blah blah. Okay, $250 if you want to train. He's like, why don't the first 10 people that do it, you just train them for free? He's like, you do it all at once. You train a bunch of people and get them started. So this weekend, from now until Sunday, if you do the $500 deal, don't do the $250 add-on, because that will be included. We will train, hand you on a silver platter, a ready-to-go virtual assistant to get started making money for you, okay? So when we talk about pouring money back into your business, this is a way to get you a staff person that's already established. Now, we've got like 10 of them. And so really what I've been doing is like, hey, who's your sharpest friend? Who's your sharpest friend? Because we've already got an established sharp group who know a lot of the GoHighLevel services. Now that's the second piece to this, is you need a system for them to be able to make dials, to be able to make money. Because like, you just get somebody and you're like, all right, call a bunch of recruits, okay? So we've unlocked two things that have really helped a lot when it comes to, don't do that, comes to efficiency. okay? And the one thing that we've been preaching and talking to you all about is GoHighLevel. So I sent you a link for that. You can sign up for that through PCAgentSites.com. All that is, it's a $9 a month deal. And that's how we build your landing pages, okay? So if you're in President's Club and you want a landing page, it's $9. We'll build you a sales landing page. It looks like that. It's a template page, okay? If you want a custom page, we'll do it for you. We charge more because it's literally going to be custom, exactly what you want, okay? But yours will look generally like this on a sales standpoint and a recruiting standpoint, okay? So those are what your pages will look like. Now, with this $9, you get a back office GoHighLevel system. Now, why do you care about that? GoHighLevel is a system, I'm trying to get out of the way of this, that gives you the ability to manage and track all your appointments, all your recruits, everybody in your business. So what you're looking at right here is this is the ABTF calendar for this week, okay? So you can see these 2 days are blocked out because of convention. But look at how many damn calendars from different programs we have booked in there, right? Would you like your recruiting calendar to look like this? Now, here's the crazy part, is when you look at these folks, you can see everything they've been sent. So like this guy, David Moreno, I'm clicking blind here. He had an appointment with one of my recruiters this week. We'll figure out how he got there. Okay, I can see every communication that occurred with this guy. This might have been an AI deal. Oh, this is an AI guy. That's another thing I'm not ready to roll out. But we got an AI thing that's calling people, getting people on the calendar. But look, we emailed this guy back in August. Hey, Albright's going to be in Tampa. I can see the communication with this guy. We sent him an email back in August. He's still not on the calendar, okay? Then we get him on the calendar 2 months later. So you talk about, Alan, all the hours you've been recruiting over the years, right? Like, dude, what if you had 10 years worth of data in this system and you can just remarket towards that data constantly? Like, that's the power in this system, okay? So this was the first thing that unlocked the efficiency of our virtual assistants is I can plug them in here and say, hey, do this, do that, manage this. And a lot of people in the Philippines are very, very comfortable with this system. It's common. It's a common CRM system that a lot of people use. Now, the second thing I learned about GoHighLevel, and I stole this from all the telesales guys, because what they were doing in telesales, one of the things they figured out was they were like, all right, if we can make a lot of phone calls, we can make more sales, right? Wow, genius, groundbreaking. So I was thinking about it, and we were using call centers and just like finger dialing, right? And it's just not that efficient. And I was like, what if, this is brilliant, this is how I work, Andres, what if we did what those telesales guys were doing? So you can get a wave dialer through this system, and you can track exactly what people are doing. This might be Bolivians. It might be Jason Mathis' crew on this one. So you can see exactly what they did over a week, over a month, number of appointments over a month, okay? So you can just see, oh, I made 350 appointments on there. Okay, so you can see what your team does from a perspective, whatever, bird's eye view, you call it, okay? So this helped massively, and this is another tool you'll need if you have somebody that's going to be setting initial dials for you. Now, maybe you're not interested in a virtual assistant for recruiting. Maybe you're interested in a virtual assistant because you have pending stuff to do. That was my filter. It kicked in late. Through GoHighLevel, you can build a sales pipeline. It comes included with President's Club, but you can build a sales pipeline that shows where people are at, okay? And you can tell your virtual assistant, hey, if they're in this spot, do this. If they're in this spot, do this. And that's part of what will help you figure out is like, what does that look like for that person? This is not a great view, but this is what our recruiting pipeline looks like. So you can see all the people, where they're at in the pipeline, all the people we're working with, all the appointments and past appointments we've had. And our recruiters can work through that. I know who they're assigned to. The visualization is huge. Now, here's another big thing with staff. And I know my staff's in the room, but I had somebody quit last week. And when you have staff, that's kind of a problem because a lot of the information is right here, right? And you've had them, Rogers. They quit, and you're like, well, shit, I guess we're starting from zero. So here's what I was able to do. They quit. I just reassign all the data to the new person or to somebody else like this. Changed my life, bro. Like so excited, okay? Changed my life because otherwise we're like, all right, well, can you write down the people you were working with? Can you write those people down for us? And we'll talk some junk to them and try and get them started. But now, like, all right, like we'll flow through some staff every now and then. We're not starting from zero anymore. We're starting with data, okay? I want to go in here and I want to pull my Tampa people because Albright's going to be in Tampa. Albright's going to be in Tampa next week, recruiters. We need to like send out a message to all the people in here again and be like, hey, CEOs in Tampa would love to have you out there. Okay, so the combined data and the combined ability to market to that data is massive. Now, should you become a GoHighLevel expert? Hell no. I know it too well. Like I'm almost concerned I know it that well. It means I wasted a lot of time learning it, James. So like I actually had the occurrence. Jason Mathis helped me had this occurrence because he talked about how he had Bolivians training Bolivians. And I was like, by God, that's genius. You know what I mean? I was like, what? I got all these people and I'm telling them what to do. This is terrible. And so I was like, I just get a Filipino to talk to Filipinos about GoHighLevel and build the stuff that I want them to build. Now, the cool thing being in President's Club is I'll give you any of the stuff we've built. I don't care. I don't really want to monetize the GoHighLevel stuff because it's just like designed to help you. So like we've got a lot of weird stuff. Brandon's helped me a bunch on the telesales stuff. So if any of you are interested in the telesales side, he's given me his telesales pipeline. So anything telesales is Brandon and Michael Weinberg and that crew. They built that stuff. So I won't take credit for it. But there's multi-application use of this, and it ties directly into you hiring staff. Okay? So let's land this plane. So you investing in your business expenses, right? President's Club, virtual assistants, advertisements, GoHighLevel, drives your sales and passive income. Your passive income and sales growing allows you to invest more to get more staff. And by the way, I didn't talk about this. There's it's really nice being lazy. Andy paid Jason, I think, a really good compliment as he saw him when I was behind Andy. He goes, Jason, how many Bolivians you got? And Jason's like, about like 30. He goes, you are one lazy son of a gun. And that's a hell of a compliment because like, it means Jason's not doing dumb stuff. You know what I mean? Like Jason's doing the high level stuff. He's not doing dumb stuff, okay? So it's like when you hire staff and hire people, you get to take the stuff you hate and that's really boring and not fun and give it to them because you pay them. As one of Andy Albright's staff, I get that a lot. I'm like, oh man, like sometimes he'll like, especially a newer recruiter, he'll be like, talk to this guy. Like you get him because he's not impressed with him. So he'll be like, you try and get him, right? So he gets to like delegate stuff that he does not want to deal with. I deal with this for Andy because Andy told me to build a recruiting system. Okay. So like you get to delegate a lot of the annoying stuff in your life to other people so you can do the stuff you are good at and the stuff you like. You are good at making sales. You are good at talking people into making sales, and you're good at having fun. Why do I know you're good at having fun? Because you work at the Alliance, and that's number one, is to have fun. Okay? So that's the strategy. That's the system we got. We got a minute left. Does anybody have any questions, curiosity, stuff they want me to recover? Start with you, Mimi.
So with the special that Andy is giving, does that mean we pay $250? And then for the finder's fee, and then you train for free?
$500, and I train for free.
Oh, I thought it was $250.
Yes, sir.
How do I sign up?
For what? Come on.
500.
Right there, if you go to NAPresidentsClub.com, VA hiring, you'll see it right there. And I got a quick survey for you here. You'll fill that out. I just need to know how many hours you work. The next step after that is you and I have a consultation, and I want to understand what you're looking for. What do you want to hire? What are you looking for? How many hours? That sort of thing. We're going to do a consultation. After that, I'm going to try and find you somebody, and then we're going to train them, and then we're going to get them started.
How do we pay them?
Good question. So I am not going to pay them. Why? Because I thought about it. I was like, I could, but it's just like a bit of an accounting nightmare. I would say 95% of people in the Philippines use this system called WISE, W-I-S-E. You just create an account. You can use a credit card or a bank account. I'll negotiate the rate, and I'll come to you, Rogers, and say, hey, this person wants $5 an hour. You go with that? Okay, that's usually what I shoot for is like $4 or $5 an hour, depending. And if they're really good, I might pay them more, okay? Because your like cost per appointment is going to be nothing. Like it's worth it. All right, we're back to main stage. Invest in your business. Thank you, guys.